We're
Ding,
live.
ding. We're
Hey,
live.
hello everyone. So far there's 5 people. Everybody hit the thumbs up, please. Tonight we are going to go over 60 Days In, last week's episode.
Oh,
Today's
yeah.
Sunday. Yeah, so last week's episode we have Michelle from season 3.
Hi.
So I have some clips of you on the show that I'll play so that to remind them who you are. Let
Okay.
me pull them up.
Who could forget
Hey
her?
Heidi, how are you?
Right.
This should be interesting. You probably haven't seen these for a while.
Right. I haven't. Yeah.
What's up, Heidi?
Sorry.
Oh, that's your.
Nervous that was going to happen.
Someone else has dogs too.
Yes,
Yep.
I have 3 mastiffs. Thank you.
There you
I
are.
miss my daughter so very much. And here I cannot do what I want to do. I can't go out to eat. I can't go to the movies with my daughter. I can't go to the mall with my daughter. I can't just be with my daughter.
Drink some. Drink that.
Oh, they're gonna get you to do a whip it.
Mm-hmm.
She's thinking of it. Nope, she didn't even think she got up.
I hate her when she like that. Four braids did in the back of her head. Oh, it's fine.
All right, I gotta stop it so I don't get struck. Did that taste good?
Yes.
You liked it?
Just like a bunch of, it's a lot of sugar. I don't think it really does anything to you. Probably gives you a little sugar high, you know?
Yeah. And you didn't even think about it. You just got up and said, "Screw it, I'll take it," huh?
Man, by that point, when I was on the bottom bunk, that was my last of my days there. I was like, just get me the hell out of here.
Yep. That's got to be tough.
The prescription med abuse here at the women's facility is completely out of control, and it's something that we have to take care of immediately. We're going to have to do another raid and see what we can uncover.
We're going to pull them out like a regular head count. While they're out with their backs on the walls, we're going to do a full inspection of the room.
Did you get nervous that you would get a charge when they did inspections?
No, absolutely not. No.
We'll do the full search.
Oh, they'll remove you.
I need everybody up. Uniforms on. Everybody up. Uniforms on.
It was like in Dolby surround sound.
Yep. You just look drained. You look
I was
drained.
completely drained. I was hungry and tired.
What? The food wasn't good in there?
Yeah, no, not at all.
You hear an echo?
I do.
Yeah, I heard it.
Mike's like saying there's an echo. Maybe it's coming from the thing.
You have 2 windows open.
I don't know. All right, I'll try that.
I'm scared of who I've become because I'm not this person.
Better.
Okay. Hey, Mike Slick.
Just some of the things that I've said or I've done. And it's probably me being paranoid, but I feel like I've had to do that to fit in.
Well, that's it. You can't be yourself, right? You gotta play the part to fit in over there.
You have to, yeah.
Do you feel like you have to play the part, but then you might be embarrassed what might come out on TV? Is that what it is?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of your biggest fears every week when I watch. Like, how am I going to look so stupid this week? And then, after it airs, the internet is going to completely tear you up. say ridiculous things to you. The online bullies were just too much. I stopped looking at it eventually because you take it personally. You can't help but take it personally, you know? And these people don't know you, obviously, that are making these comments. They have made comments about my daughter, about my husband. It was bad. It was really, really bad.
You got to have thick skin.
It's you, yeah, and you just have you know it's coming. So we could see.
I could only imagine you're on A&E, a big show. I mean, we're in a community with I got 5,000 subs, and we get a lot of junk people.
Right.
So I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Favorite pills right here.
Hey, Manchetti.
People really do sell the real stuff. They're going to put the pills in their mouth. They're going to spit them back in the cup. They're going to bring them back in the pot, and they're going to sell them.
Right shoulder.
They told us to line up our doors because lunch.
What was that girl's name? I forget.
Maury.
Yeah.
Lori. Maury. Do you still talk to her?
We do, not a lot.
You're still
but we do. Yeah, I mean, like she's on like I'm on her social media and stuff, but just kind of like social media, not really like on the phone or anything anymore. We used to when the show was airing, of course.
Yeah. How long has it been since you've been on the show?
I was actually there at this time 6 years ago. It was the end of 2016. So 6 years.
Was here.
It's been a while.
But really, a whole bunch of men walked in. Basically, we got shook down the whole pod.
They found drugs in one of the cells.
It wasn't a bad decision.
No. My heart was in my toes. I don't want to get in trouble. I have charges. I'm ready to go. So just
You look like you had enough.
Make that clear. I'm ready to go.
Back to the wall, back to the wall, back to the wall, back to the wall.
Hey, ladies, we found some.
All right. We're still enough then. Yeah, you looked exhausted.
I was.
Yeah.
So let's get into
Exhausted
with
starving.
how'd you get involved with the show?
I'm sorry.
How did you get on the show? Like you saw like advertisement for it, or you knew someone?
Yeah, it was actually like I don't want to say help wanted, but kind of. It was an ad on Craigslist. And when you answer it, you don't know what you're like. It doesn't say 60 days in. It says if you have a strong opinion of the criminal justice system, reply to this ad with your email, phone number, name, whatever it was. And so I did. And the very next day I got a call and it said New York, New York. And I was like, who is this? So I, of course I answer it like what, and it was the production company. And mine, from the time they called me till the time I went into jail was like 3 weeks. Because come to find out, another girl, they lost a girl. They had got her all prepped and ready. But when she found out that it was Fulton County, she said, absolutely not, I'm not doing it. So she dropped off. Before the show even started, she dropped off. So they had to get somebody kind of quick. So they like rushed me through the physical, the backgrounds, all of that stuff to, so I could, the show, I guess, was supposed to start like a month earlier than it actually did because of that whole situation with them losing one of the female participants.
Right. Yeah, your season is the season I started actually watching it.
Yeah.
And,
did you go back and watch 1 and 2?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
I have, yep. Mm-hmm.
I feel like now, like a couple of, even by the time our season came around, all of the inmates already knew about 60 days in. They were already saying, oh, this is 60 days in. But so Fulton County, they did that show Scared Straight in that facility. So it was kind of believable that they were doing another documentary in there because it was their second documentary.
Right.
But just how it's all set up and how they come in and they get in, get you to do interviews. It's just obvious, and they all knew. The one girl said, "I don't even care if you are on 60 Days In, I still love you." The girl Sydney that was in my cell, the real beautiful young lady. I don't know if she's in you can see her a lot in the show, but they knew that I was.
That's great. That's why I think it's like for them to keep doing more seasons, it makes it a little bit more obvious. Now this season's a little different because they have the quarantine where they're stuck in their cell, quarantining, and a lot of them are tapping out. Now we saw this week Chance tapped out. What did you think of that?
I was shocked, especially because before he went in, he's like, "Oh, I can do 60 days standing on my dick." So I really thought the guy was going to do it. And, but the thing is, you never know who is going to make it until you're actually in there, because I know I was not a pick for making it. There was, they told me after it was over, they're like, "We are so shocked that you made it the whole time." They couldn't believe it. I knew I wasn't going to leave. I knew I was going to stick it out, but people didn't think I was going to make it.
They doubted you.
Exactly. And that's fine. That's, even my daughter said, "Oh, Mom, you won't make it 2 weeks. There's no way you can do it." So it was a common theme in my life that nobody thought I was going to make it.
Well, you did real good. You fit right in too. You could see the way like you were adapting and fitting in with the situation. But so Chance leaves and then he goes and talks to them, and then like his complaints are about like they need healthier food. To me, it just didn't seem like he had enough information to give them on the program, because he really didn't.
I agree with you. Well, and he can't. How can he give them information? He didn't even make it to general population. If he would have made it to general population, then I could see maybe where he would have had a little bit of information. But it's jail. Like the food is going to suck. Like it's not a catered event. It's going to be bad. But I part of what he was saying though, I could kind of agree with. Like, it was so much worse than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like hospital food where, it won't have a lot of flavor, but you could still eat it. Like, it's not great. But no, it's so much worse than that. When you can't get past the smell, first of all. The meat doesn't look like meat. It's just disgusting. Like it's bad. And the only reason I made it was because there was the diabetics will get special diets. And there was a girl that I would trade her my cookies because she didn't get cookies. I would trade her my cookies for her peanut butter. So that's all I ate was peanut butter sandwiches. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know, because I was there like the first 2 weeks. I blacked out. They didn't catch it on camera because it was a Sunday. They don't come to the facility on the weekends, but I fainted because I was starving and dehydrated. And then all the inmates turned into doctors and nurses. They all knew what I needed. And but then I started eating peanut butter sandwiches, so I started at least feeling like I had a little bit of energy. Yeah. And then, so it must be a common theme with jails is that it's so loud, and it seems like nobody sleeps. They sleep during the day, and then at night, when you think everybody's sleeping, that's when everybody's, loud, playing games. You saw my cell was turned up every night. They were always doing something in there.
They're the ones that got naked, right?
Yes.
Yes, the naked party. That's right.
The scene where you see them getting naked, that was actually my first night there. So I was like, what? did I get myself into? What is going on? Oh, wow, it was bad. It was really bad.
So
But they told me that when I got in there that they partied and they played games and they, do all the crazy stuff they did, and they did. They were being honest.
I don't know if I would rather have like more games and partying than just like bored. I don't know what I would rather. I'm sure it's nice to have a break from that every once in a while. So you had a medical emergency. Did you on this new season, the girls quarantine, they had a lot of medical emergencies. Um, and it seemed like it took forever for anybody to come into their pod. Did you have this similar experience?
So there was a couple of or no, I mean there was one girl in our like pod that had, I think it was the same thing. She'd like go into like she would have like seizures, but no, they would be in there pretty quickly. And I don't know how much of that's editing because they want to make the gel look bad, or did it really take them that long? You really don't know, because some of it is editing where they're gonna like I think was it last week or the week before where there was like 3 or 4 girls, like one fainted, one had a seizure, and I was like, is this really all happening like in real time, or is it some of it editing? You never know.
Yeah, they do a good job of editing
They
the
do.
way they want the show to turn out, which is not necessarily what actually happens. So
Absolutely. And I learned that very quickly. Like the first week it aired, and they would like show me doing something, and you would hear me saying something, but it had nothing to do with each other. So it kind of made me look, well, why did she say that at that time? Well, she didn't. It's editing, but people don't know that. And it's so strange, like all the weird things.
Dogs.
My dogs are looking like, what is that? Like
Jimmy, you're in the wrong live. There's no Rob here, Jimmy. So
never doing anything like that, and then getting thrown into this weird world of like, I say it's reality TV. That was,
yeah.
I mean, I know they say it was a docuseries, it's a documentary, and I do think it documented in the true facts of how it is in jail. I agree with that. But then some of it was just like reality TV too, like who's going to make it, who's going to go home, and like the suspense of every week. And, I don't know. But this, back to Chase.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff he was saying, like I tend to agree with. Like he brought up milk. They never gave us milk, ever. It was, they didn't give you drinks at all. You just had to drink like out of the stink. Well, they would bring like a big cooler in, which they never wash. It had ice water in it. That's, you would drink it because you were thirsty, or you would drink the water out of like the toilet sink combo, which is disgusting because you feel like you're drinking toilet water. And what was crazy on last week's episode is how they had that flood, because we had a flood and it was the exact same situation. So the pod next to us was where they housed the mentally challenged, mentally ill, and they would put those blankets down their toilet and flush, and it would cause it to flood everywhere. And it happened to us a few times. And there's really nothing you can do besides go ask for a mop, and
yeah, you guys clean it, right? Because they were cleaning it on there, so you guys have to clean up the mess. They don't have like a janitor come in.
No, the only thing that jails do have is like trustees, which is just what it is. It's inmates that are trusted, and they give them certain, they can go clean, or the trustees will bring like some of your meals around, or they get to move around the jail more than a regular inmate does.
Right.
Yeah. And so that kind of like brought back some memories too when I saw that. And I think, is it Darius? The one that just had the baby?
Yep.
Darius was mopping.
Yeah, I think he is doing absolutely amazing. I love to watch him interact with that younger guy. Um, to me, that's what this show should be about. Is, like him reaching out, trying to change that guy's path. Like, you don't have to have this path, And I think, is it Carlos? Wait, what's the other guy's name?
Carlos.
Carlos, yeah. Carlos also. I think those two are doing so
I think their
amazing.
approaches are different, though. Let's start. I think the two of them, their approaches are different. Carlos.
Yeah, they are absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think they're both doing so amazing, and they're the only two guys left, huh?
Yeah, Carlos and Chance. Carlos, no, yeah, Chance went home. Carlos, Darius are and then Rose and Trinity are the girls, right?
Right.
So there's only 4 of them in there right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry.
I cannot believe that. I really thought, oh, these are inmates. I mean, these are they've been in jail. They've been in prison before, right? There's no way they're gonna tap out. And then with their like, I got a headache. They were killing me with their like, I have a headache.
So obvious in the camera. See, I thought that Darius had a baby that he didn't even meet yet. So I thought if anybody would tap out, it would be him.
Right?
Right.
I mean, and of course, being a past participant, I'm thinking, so if you leave, you stop getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
My season, if you made it the entire time, you got a bonus. So I'm like, how are they just tapping out? Like, I don't know. Maybe their
experience with jail. They should be able to do it standing on their head, in my opinion.
Right?
I guess maybe
exactly. I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, there's no way anybody's tapping out. And then I totally understand why they did tap out. By the way, like Lynn, she was kind of breaking my heart because I felt her pain not being able to sleep.
I didn't like Chance's his excuse, like I'm gonna go crazy. I just felt his was fake, and I watch him on TikTok. I watch him on TikTok, and he's just fake. And the way he got so offended that they didn't take his like criticism, it's like your criticism sucked.
If you really looking to change things, that's even more of a reason why you stay.
Absolutely.
You could, if you it's horrible in here, it's bad. Bye. Like if you really go on the show to try to affect change, you know what I mean? And going off the show, what have you done?
Nothing.
If he was there, he actually might have been able to impress upon other people in there and get some things done. Because sheriff is looking at him like, yo, you're going to come in here and say X, Y, Z and then just bounce. So
right. Absolutely.
He went about it the wrong way, I think. Like with Darius, he's going to stay with that kid and try to help that kid. You know what I mean? And make a big impression on him.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Carlos and his approach is like night and day, but they're still trying. They're trying to do something, not just say, hey, I'm done, I'm uncomfortable, so I'm leaving. Well, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. You think and like the sheriff said, like it's not a Marriott, like it's going to be uncomfortable.
You're in jail.
Maybe they forgot just how uncomfortable it was.
What did you think of Carlos taking that shank and breaking it in front of everybody? I thought that would have caused a problem, but people looked at him like he was a hero. I thought it was going to cause.
Same. I thought he was going to get his ass kicked.
Me too.
Wow, but I mean, at least there's no weapon. There was no weapons in there. And then didn't it end with like previews of him fighting?
Yeah.
That guy
he sent that kid, the blonde kid. I forget what the blonde kid's name is. He sent the blonde kid to fight him and get it. And then the guards were coming in and they were like making it like they saved the day. Like he's got a shank. But I thought like these inmates, they want weapons. I thought in there. So I thought it would be more like, what do you do? Like kind of like a rat move,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what? Why is he getting involved in this? I mean, in every prison, there's weapons. It's just part of the game, I guess,
Right. Absolutely. Well,
but the weapon that he had, that looked like a sword. That wasn't like an actual shank or, that was like some serious shit.
It was. Absolutely. It definitely could have hurt somebody. And to me, it just looked like he was almost being so obvious. Again, could have been editing, but it just looked like he was like, "Oh, I'm the big hero. I got the Shane or the weapon." I'm like, I don't know. It was a little strange to me, but at least there's no weapons in the. Hopefully, there's no weapons in there now, right?
Well, who knows? And the other thing is that I thought was kind of weird is like, Carlos is preaching to this kid, right? But you're in jail too. You know what I mean? It's like you're telling him to straighten up his life. I'd be looking at you like, okay, cool, but what the hell are
you're
you
with
doing
me.
here? Like you're in jail too. So you're obviously giving me information and preaching, but you didn't live by it. So
Right?
I mean, whatever, you know what I mean? But
yeah, but I get your point. Like, you can't preach to me too much, dude, because you're sitting right next to me.
I know, like, what the hell did you do your life? You're 30, 40 years old and you're in here. When are you going to learn?
Right? Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but some of these kids need father figures. Now, he took the broom broke. He makes a shank out of it. I mean, at some point, didn't he have to return that broom? Like, I was thinking, wouldn't the guard say, like, where's the other half of it? Because he's not returning the broom.
You would think. You would really think, yeah. I didn't even think about that either.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like, he's breaking it. Like, I think at some point you have to return them.
Yeah, somebody just commented, do as I say, not as I do. Agreed, exactly.
That's Jerry G.
Jerry G.
He's in
Australia. Jerry G from Australia. What? And it's the Monday morning there, Jerry, right? Are you in the
happy
future?
Monday morning, Jerry G.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Monday morning sucks. Now, Rose, did you see Rose go off on the girl? I thought Rose was going to fight her.
Oh, I did. And, oh, man, I was sitting there screaming at my TV because I felt her pain on that one, too. Because there's just, I don't know, some of those girls come in there like they are not scared of anything. And you know what? They probably aren't, right? They probably aren't scared of anything. But just some of the stuff you would hear these girls say, and you're like, well, shut up. Like, just shut up. Shut your mouth. So I felt her pain on that. And I'm glad she didn't do anything or put her hands on that girl because I know she wanted to.
Well, she still can.
Like she's going to do. And is it Trinity?
Yeah.
That lost
Trinity.
her cousin. My heart broke for her because you think she would want to tap out, right? To go be with her family. She's not. She's staying on her mission. Well, at least so far, right?
So far.
But my heart broke for her also. That was so sad.
Yeah.
That was very sad.
So I wonder if they're going to probably try to bring in someone else, I would think, like on the male side of it.
I would think so. And you know what else I wondered? You know how they do like Clark County? They did 2 seasons. Fulton County, 2 seasons. Like they do one. I wonder if they're going to do 2 seasons at that facility and bring in more, I don't know what the proper term. They used to be in prison. The individuals that used to be in prison, if they're gonna go that route,
inmates. They call them former inmates, right?
Thank you. I wonder if that's what they're gonna do, and then when they showed, I think it was like the first couple of weeks, and they showed Shaq. Like, you guys, I mean, this is getting. Just to me, I was like, really, Shaq?
I know. It's getting a little Hollywood.
Exactly. I just thought it was a little much for me, but whatever. I think they're trying to really, make it where it's,
They're going to have to use former inmates because now, like, the cat's out of the bag already. I mean, come on, everybody knows.
Good night, Claudia.
And, they're going to have to like change it up a little. I mean, like everything else, because people are going to know, like I'm even thinking, like people have to know now that, when they see all those cameras in and like when they take you out of the room to do an interview or whatever, I mean, the inmates are not stupid. So
no, and they're absolutely not. And I even told the people, not even the production company, I told the lady from A&E, I said, if you guys are going to continue to do this, you need to change some things. Like, and let me tell you a few things you need to change. Like, you cannot send me into a pod and say that I committed a crime. Where is my paperwork? I haven't seen a judge. That's illegal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on. And then
Very important.
right. And the stories that they, like, there was a couple of words that they said over and over to me, knowing when I got in there, I was going to say those same words. Well, in that world, those are words for cop or undercover cop or, I mean, it's just, to me, they were like setting you up. I'm going to set you up and just see how hard you fall. And then
Right.
I'm going to see if you can get back up and you can make it in there for 2 months. That was definitely my experience. I was just blindsided by a couple of things and I was so mad. Like, why would you guys say these words to me? You know, I'm going to go repeat them in there thinking
Right.
I'm being cool inmate when I'm doing the opposite.
Right.
I was so angry. There was so many times I was so angry with some of the producers. But you know what? At the end of the day, I can't be angry with them because they're doing their job. That's what they get paid to do. They get paid to entertain people on a TV show. It is what it is. I can't even be mad at them. That's my fault for not knowing better. But I mean, when have you ever been thrown into a jail and not committed a crime? Like, it's
Right.
something that just doesn't happen. And there's, you know, only a few of us, you know, in this country that have gone through this experience, which I'm glad I did because it taught me a lot about myself. I was so glad I did it. Yeah, you just.
Well, you
it's
did
like-
it and you finished too, so that's a whole accomplishment. You didn't just do it, but you finished. But I think it
Absolutely.
you were the first set of participants, and then a second set came in. So I think with the cameras, the second set, like it makes them a little more obvious than you guys. Especially you said that the ones that you said backstage, that the ones that came in after you, they kind of had the same cover story.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm in the cell, and there was like 2 girls that came in, which was Stephanie and Jacqueline.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, let me give Jacqueline some props here. I did not know she was part of the show. I really didn't. She was over there arguing with one of the guards. I thought she did, to me, I was only in there with her for a few days. Keep in mind, I know after I left, all hell broke loose with like her and Stephanie and stuff. But I thought she was doing an amazing job. I had no idea she was part of the show. I really didn't. The only reason I knew Stephanie was because her cover story was like identical to mine. I almost like cringed when she was saying it, like, you know,
Yeah.
she didn't. She's not knowing my cover story because this was, you know, fast forward 2 months of me coming in. So we didn't talk about my cover story anymore. But it was just so similar. I was like, this is a disaster. But that was like towards the end, and I was like kind of old news. It's like they're bullies, and like, you know, I would be a topic for a few days, then it would be somebody else, and
Yeah.
they just bully people. Like, there was a girl that was pregnant, and she was a really skinny girl, so she had like, it looked like a basketball on, you know, on her stomach. Like, she's clearly pregnant. They would be like, for a few days they were bullying her. She's not pregnant. I'm like, you got, like, how is she not pregnant? What is that on her? What is this? Like, what's this? They just bully, and then they move to a new topic, and they didn't say it to my face, but they, after I left, said how racist I was because this one lady was saying I was racist because I wouldn't let her have the bottom bunk. So I was a whole racist. And I'm like, they just don't know you, you know, and they just will say anything crazy to get people to come on their bandwagon and hate you also, you know?
Yeah.
It's literally just like middle school, exactly like middle school.
I just can't get over the fact that they sent you in there without paperwork. Now, to me, that's like that. I didn't realize that, because if you don't have paperwork, you're in trouble, basically.
Thank you.
I'm surprised they
Thank
even
you.
looked at you.
Thank you. But see, I wouldn't know that because at this time they're doing where you can't have any criminal background. If you have a criminal background, you can't go on the show. You have to be, you know, never arrested, never in trouble. So I don't know any of this. So when I go in there, I'm like having to make excuses of where my paperwork is. And that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, that's
because
great.
you just came from the facility. Where's your paperwork? And you're like caught like looking stupid. Yeah. That's how they knew. They knew that we were part of, you know, a program or.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
yeah.
The other thing is, like, when, you know, like when you go to jail, like people would, like, you know, fighting and whatnot. If they told you if you get into an altercation that you would be charged, were you under that impression, or they never really talked about that?
No, they did. They did. If we did anything illegal, if we did any drugs, if we got into a fight, we would be charged. But all of that goes out the window when you are in there, and these girls are saying you're a cop. And like the one night that they were like, you know, doing their little prescription drugs, and they had like told me, if you don't do this, we know you're a cop. We know you're a cop. So of course I'm like, oh, I'm doing it. Whatever it is, I'm doing it. You know, like, of course you are, because you are scared, you know, like part of you scared. Part of me was angry, like angry and scared all mixed into one. Like, what am I doing here? You know, like, what did I get myself into? But you do what you have to do to get through it. And that's just being street smart. You know, sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do to get through a situation. And I would not change one thing about what I did in there. Not one thing, because I made it. And the one girl, Sydney, I know that I made an impression on her. She's no longer with us, but I spoke with her sister. And
that was the girl that kind of like looked up to you in the whole thing, right?
She did.
And what happened to her?
Huh?
She passed away?
She did.
Oh no.
She died in a car accident like 2 months after she got out.
Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, it was just devastating. And so I ended up finding her sister on social media. And just because I wanted her to know that, like, I love her sister. It wasn't anything fake. I wasn't
right.
All of that was me. That was all my true feelings. I care about her. I love her. Yeah, and you know, God rest her soul. And she was young. She had just had her like 22nd birthday right before she passed away. Yeah,
that's really sad. That's why like the chase, when he left and he made it all about like he's going to catch a charge and stuff like that, I felt like he was making excuses like to make himself not look so bad for leaving. To me, all that was like so amped up and so fake.
I agree with you on that too. And then to have the nerve to be like, oh, the sheriff didn't take anything I had serious. Well, dude, you stayed 3 days. I mean, what do you think he's going to say? Like,
I feel like he was doing it for clout.
Valuable for him, you know?
Yeah. I feel like he was doing it for clout, and he thought he was going to be like some kind of, go viral. And I mean, it made me check out his social media, but his social media annoys me because he's too like high. After watching him on the show, and it just seems fake. It just seems fake to me. The whole like tough guy act and everything else.
I think a lot of the participants, there's just a little glimpse of hope in your mind, like, I'm going to get discovered from the show. You know?
Yeah.
But no, going to jail for 60 days is not going to get you discovered. You know?
Yeah. Well, you never know.
You want true. Hey, weirder things have happened, right?
But I just don't like, because if I was doing the 60 days in, right? Like, and like someone in jail pushes up on you, like another inmate where, you know, you got to like, where they step to you. If you got to back down, then you might as well take me out of there, because what's going to happen if someone presses up on me and I back down or punk out because, you know, I can't fight because I'm going to catch a charge? Well, then I would just say, get me out of here, because at that point, the rest of your stay there is going to be impossible.
Absolutely. You are 100% correct on that. If somebody did, you would have to fight them. Like, there's
Of course.
no other way around it. Or everybody's going to try to fight you after that, because they're going to think you're a punk, you know?
Well, it's also a catch-22, because they want you to go in there and like discover the drugs and stuff. But then if you get caught with the drugs, they're saying you're going to get a charge. So what do you want? You know, it's like a catch-22. Like they got mad at Carlos, right, for having drugs on him right away. Didn't they get upset with Carlos for having drugs on him?
They got upset because he traded commissary for pills.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And he gave the pills to them. But I was thinking to myself, like, okay, well, if he traded the pills, the commissary for the pills, and they got upset at him for doing that, then what is he in there for? Like, what is he trying to uncover?
Right. Exactly. Like, how else would you get pills? How else would you get them? You got to do something to get the pills. Whether you're going to kick somebody's ass, you're going to take them from them.
Right.
You know,
Carlos is saying the food's bad. The kid Chance is saying the food's bad. They don't want to hear that. This guy gets the pills off someone. They don't want him to do that. Well, what do you expect these people, and what are you trying to find out?
Right.
You know, like if you're not going to let those guys do that, then why are they even there? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
Right. Good point. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah. What do they want? You know? Well,
I guess maybe it's just like you said. Now with Shaquille O'Neal, might just be a show now, where it's like they're not worried. You know, they don't care about cleaning anything up or doing anything. It's just a show, and they're trying to get viewers.
Absolutely, they are, and it's definite. I mean, I just still can't believe that they're doing all of these seasons. Like, are you? I mean, I thought it would have been over after Fulton County, and then they went. I think it was like Arizona was next, and they're doing all these seasons. And I really, really feel like somebody's going to get hurt. Like, somebody is going to get seriously hurt. It's literally the first thing in your contract. If you get hurt or killed, we have nothing to do with it. We are not responsible. So,
hey, Aegon, how are you? They actually make you sign away your life.
Absolutely, they do. Yep. And then, you know, again, never doing anything like this. You don't know how to negotiate. You don't know how to. You don't know whether, well, is this good money? Is this not good money? Come to find out, the guys got paid way more than the women did, which completely boils my blood. To this day, boils my blood, because you can't say, oh, it's harder for the guys or it's harder for the girls. No, the shit's hard. Period. Yeah. There's no, I wouldn't say it was easier for anybody.
You're in the same jail, the same food, the same temperature in the cells, the same blankets, the same sheets, the same cot. So
that's bullshit. I mean, honestly, that's some bullshit right there. I'm a guy, but you know what? That's some bullshit.
And they have no overhead. Okay, they're not paying for anything, right? The cameras, there's no like, I don't know, whatever movies have to pay for, backdrop scenes, well, wardrobe, makeup, whatever. They have nothing. They have no overhead whatsoever. So coming out of it and then seeing how it's 6 years later, it's still streaming. It's still popular. I still get messages In which it's nice. You feel good when you get a message and somebody's like, "Oh, I just watched your season and you did a good job." Like it makes your day. You feel good, whatever. But we don't get any residuals. We don't, and I'm not talking about. I feel like I should be getting like $5,000 a month, but I say I should be getting at least a check for $16 a month or something.
Something.
Oh, definitely. And to me, the women are tougher. Honestly, I've been watching it for a while. The women are way tougher than the dudes.
Yeah,
most of the girls normally get through it, or at least almost to the end. These guys are copping out after a day or two.
Yep. And we literally, I mean, I'm going to say, like, I know personally for me, and a couple of the male participants that I know what they make, mine was less than half of what they got. And it pissed me off so bad.
Crazy.
But you've already signed the contract. You've already done the show. Like, what are you going to do? Go back and be like, well, that's not fair. They made more.
Yeah, because you didn't know.
I don't give a shit how I feel, you know?
Yeah, because to me, like, if I was going to do it, I would almost be saying to myself, this is going to be the worst experience of my life. I'm not going to, like, it's like going to be torture. You can't go in there and expect, like, Chance, what did he think they were going to do? Have like a weight room for him, and he'd have his own Bowflex and a treadmill, and he'd order smoothies and stuff like that, and he could work out and hang out and play cards. Like, the food's bad, yeah, it's jail. You know, like the accommodations are not, like you said, like it's horrible.
It's horrible, yeah.
So how do you not get in that mindset? Like,
especially since they've been there before. They've been there.
Right. And I would be of the mindset of, like, this is like the worst torture you're gonna face in your life.
Absolutely.
Nothing would surprise me is what I'm trying to say in there.
Right. But isn't that the point? Like,
right.
And that's exactly what the sheriff said, and I agreed with him on that. We don't want to make it comfortable. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But the thing that did surprise me about that facility, and again, I don't know if it's editing or they were showing the worst parts, but that jail is in bad shape. Like, I mean, they said they didn't have running water on one of the
cold water. One of them only had warm water coming out of the sink. Yeah, you got hot water. The shower didn't
running, like
the water. Yep, they were getting the shower. It would stay on for like 2 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, Darius got the shower.
Yeah, so like that's ridiculous. I mean, come on, you know. I know in the pod that I was in, there was like this big room, and it had like 12 like, you know, the shower heads, and it was just a big room.
Right.
And the water was so hot. Like, you would get out and you would be like red. Like, your whole body would be like red because the water was so hot. And it was pretty gross in there. Like, you of course would wear your shoes in there, like your little flip-flop shoes. Well, it's only shoes, of course. But it was disgusting. Like, just gross. You almost didn't feel clean once you took a shower in there, you know? Just absolutely disgusting. But a lot of what they're showing in that jail reminded me of Fulton County, because the women were not at the same jail as the men were, because they ran out of room at Fulton County. So we were at what was called the South Annex, which is a whole different area. Like, it was like 20 minutes away from where the men were. And it was disgusting, like, just disgusting. Everything was disgusting in there. And then they would flood the cell, and it would smell. And I mean, it was just all bad, you know, but again,
you're in jail.
So
it's everything you would think the worst place on earth for you would be. I mean, that's how I would look at it.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And that's what they want. That's where they want you to feel uncomfortable, as you should, because you have done something wrong, you know?
Yep.
You've committed a crime.
It's a tough situation, because it's, you know, Chance does have a good point. because
Idiotic.
the whole thing with jail is to like rehabilitate you and get you, it's punishment, but it's supposed to like help you, but realistically it's not doing that. It's just
It's
those
not.
people, it's a revolving door for a lot of them.
It is. And what I learned in Fulton County, and I guess it surprised me also, and this is just something that I didn't know. These girls weren't criminals; they were drug addicts.
Mainly, yep.
And something happened when they were either on drugs, trying to get drugs, or coming off of drugs or alcohol. They did something wrong and landed them in jail. That was 100% of them, 100%, where they needed rehabilitation, not necessarily jail. And some of their stories blew my mind. Like, you've been here how long for what? Like, for what? And it's all about money. They don't have the money for the attorney anymore, so they have to use a public defender. The public defenders are completely overloaded in every single county across our country.
Yep.
It's like it's a lose-lose situation for everybody. And I don't know what's the answer. I don't know.
You saw the blonde kid that Carlos was like mentoring. He said, "Well, it's 3 hot meals, a bed, and it's warm."
That's what's crazy about it.
3 hots and a cot, I think, is how.
As bad as you describe it, that's still better than certain people have on the outside. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
And the one that Darius is mentoring, he's going to a homeless shelter. He said when he gets out, because his mom won't bail him out, which I understand the tough love, make your kid sit in jail if he's a bad kid. His bail was like nothing. But I get that as a parent, especially since he's so young. Depending on the time, though, like maybe 30 days. Let's not make him sit there for 6 months.
Right, absolutely.
He's like, well, when I get out of here, he needs to find a homeless shelter, which is sad at that young age.
It is, and I'm wondering, like, right away, I can't help but judge his mother. Like, what kind of mother is? But I also don't know what this kid has done before he landed himself in jail.
That's what I'm saying. Right? The tough love. I can see a mother doing the tough love when you're at your wit's end. Sometimes jail's better than your child might be dead. At least in jail, you know that you're not getting that call. So I don't know what they're going through. But, I mean, depending on the time, leave him in there 6 months, no, maybe 30 days to teach him a lesson, especially if other people want to bail him out. But after that, give him a chance. He's getting
what lesson does jail teach if recidivism is like through the roof? I mean,
And it is.
I look at it from the perspective of my dad. Like my grandfather, throughout my dad's whole life, he would get in trouble. My dad, his father would always be there for him. Money for a lawyer, bailing him out, $30,000 for a lawyer he paid, $50,000 for a lawyer, whatever it was. And I would think to myself, like, it's easy to say, like, let him sit in jail and rot or whatever. But as a parent, I mean, I don't know how someone could do that. And that's how my grandfather explained it to me. Because everybody would tell him, let him sit in jail. But he just couldn't do that to his son. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that, the kid is like not even an adult yet, really. And his mom's given up on him already. So
yeah, and did you hear him say? Crazy. Did you hear him say last week, like he'd never been kissed, and like,
no, yes,
my heart,
right?
Yeah,
this poor kid.
Yeah,
I mean, like
he's got a baby face. That's what I'm. And it doesn't seem like he's a former drug addict to me.
No, they said he had stole something from Walmart, is what I think.
And that's the silliest thing. Bail the kid out. Something like that silly. I can understand you having them sit in there and try to detox, or
right.
Steal something from
exactly.
A kleptomaniac. Isn't that serious?
He should be there.
I think we've all stolen something from Walmart on this panel at one point or another, like
a
candy bar or something from somewhere. That's not
right. Exactly. We've all done it. We just maybe haven't been caught doing it, you know?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
it was,
felt,
you were saying earlier, Michelle, about like, how these people, they don't have money for attorneys or whatever. That's a big deal. That's
it
a
is. It is.
especially here in New York. What's happening is, if you get arrested for a crime, not a violent crime, for like theft or like lower level crimes, what they're doing is there's no bail anymore. They let you out.
Yes.
And that's happening in New York. And there's a lot of pushback because the people, they're robbing a store, they get arrested, the next day they're out on the street. Because what
Yep.
winds up happening is this guy's in jail. He's got a $750 bail, the kid, and he's got to sit in jail for however many months or weeks or whatever it is. I mean, to me, that just doesn't seem like that's bang for your buck, in the sense of, it's a $750 bail to get him out on the street. It's not a violent crime, and we're paying for this kid to house him, feed him, and do all this stuff.
Yep.
And with the lawyers, that's another thing. The public defender, it's like they work for the government. So I mean, I don't know. These public, like you said, they're overwhelmed with cases, first
They
of all,
are.
and then
Fingers
second of
crossed.
all, like, are they really gonna fight for your innocence?
They
Just
don't give a shit.
exactly. So
I mean, and maybe some of them do give a shit, but they're overwhelmed. They have, so many people to deal with. They can't, I don't. It's so sad, and there's still girls that I think about. Like, what? I wonder what happened to her. Did she ever get out? Did she ever straighten her life out? And it was all because they were on drugs. They didn't do, like, it wasn't like they went out and, shot somebody, or, I mean, it's so sad.
Being in that jail, since you were in there, and a lot of those girls had drug problems, did they offer them some kind of rehab program in there, or like AA meetings or NA meetings? Was that available to them?
No, not
No.
in there.
Nothing helped.
But I guess there was some kind of program in Fulton County called drug court, where, but you could only like do it once. Once you messed it up, you were done. But they did have something. But the girls would tell me, like, it was very hard to get accepted into that program. And if you did get accepted into it and you messed it up, you were done. You were right back in jail. And they would also tell me that actual prison, was so much better than the county jail. And this was just like blowing my mind. Like, they would be excited to get transported to prison.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, just wow. And the day that they were letting me out, which I don't know that I've ever felt such a happy feeling when they were like, pack it up. And I was like, oh, I did it. I made it, Yeah. And so they transported me with this other lady, and she was so happy. She had been in that county jail for almost 5 years.
Oh my God.
5 years.
Wow.
I'm thinking, I just did 2 months and I'm freaking losing my mind, right? And she said that she had killed her abusive boyfriend, and she said she would do it again if she had to, or if it presented itself, she would do it again. And she was going to prison, and she was so relieved to be going to prison. And I just remember thinking, like, wow, I'm so happy because I'm going home. I couldn't say I was going home because they thought I was being transported somewhere else also. But just crazy, just the different mindsets. And, that's what she accepted for her life. She knew she took that man's life, and she's going to be in prison the rest of her life. And she accepted it. And it's fine with her, and she had like this, ring. And I just said, oh, I like that ring. Do you know that she took that ring off and gave it to me? And I had never met this lady before.
Oh my God, that's so nice.
It was. right? And she was like, well, I'm going to prison, so you know, I don't really need it. But I just thought it was really nice too. There's so many genuinely good, nice women in there that just made a bad choice, or they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. Was a lot of it also that would just really blow my mind. Like, so you didn't. Now, if they're being honest with you, you could only take everything with a grain of salt because you have no idea if they're being honest or not. But you know, some of them you would believe them because they would speak from their heart, and you would just be like, wow, like you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and here you are, probably for years of your life. Here you are in this freaking in these walls, you know, because again, money. Don't have money for a good attorney. Like it always goes back to the legal representation every single time. If they don't have it, they don't have it. There's no options for them. It's just sad. It would break my heart, and I thought a lot about it. I agree. Lifers are interesting people. I agree with that. That was a comment. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't know.
Did you have anybody reach out to you from who was in jail? Any inmates reach out to you on social media after they got out?
There's still a few that are on my Instagram.
Oh, nice.
So it was really funny when they first started airing promos. Okay. And so, you know, Atlanta is an interesting place, come to find out. So they're airing like promos and trailers and all this stuff. So somebody tags me. Okay. It was an inmate, not a participant. And they're like, you tell these people in these comments how this shit really went down. Because it really didn't go down like that. Because they were making her look some type of way through editing that she did not like. And so, and I told her, I mean, I said, no, that's not how that happened. It wasn't how it happened. I was being honest. So from those times, people would, you know, reach out to me or message me or follow me or whatever, you know, and interact with me. And it's quite interesting, actually.
Wow, that's
well, we're almost at it. We're a little over an hour. Joe, do you have any more questions?
No, I mean, it's been great.
Oh, thank you guys so much. We can do it again, maybe after the season ends, and so we can see everything that happens.
My final question is, what are your predictions? Who do you think will make it to the end? We got Rose, Carlos, Darius, and Trinity left.
I think they're all going to make it. I do. I think they're all going to make it.
At this point, I think they're all going to make it. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I don't think anybody else is leaving. But, you know, if you would have asked me at the beginning, I would have said, like, oh, no, they're all going to make it. Hands down. There's no way any of these people are leaving. I cannot believe, it blew my mind that any of them left. I just can't believe it. But
they went in there so Lynn, I'm glad she left. Lynn, she was like breaking down, and that broke my heart. Chase, I thought he could have stayed. I think he was just full of himself, and it was more for the show. I think he wanted to go in there more for a TV show than go to jail. And when he realized he's in jail and it's not so much a TV show, he was like, peace out.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
He was a YouTuber or something, I guess.
A TikToker, yeah.
Exactly.
So, what was the other guy's name? Was it Tim?
Yeah. The guy that was all tatted up from head to toe, the older guy.
Yeah. Doing like this.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, laugh when he did that. I was like, they're too much.
Yeah, I mean,
like they're all obvious.
So obvious.
I never gave the distress signal the entire time I was there, and I'm very proud of that.
Because he's telling the thing about that with the dude with the tats was he's in the room and he's acting like he's sick. He can't, you know, he's not feeling well. And then they say, hey, you want to do an interview? He's like, yeah.
That didn't make any sense.
You're saying you're sick right now. You can't breathe or whatever. And you want to do an interview. I'd be like, what are you doing? It's like, get this guy a doctor. But whatever.
Exactly. That literally looks so bad.
See, I'll do an interview. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Right.
He had a headache, right? He had a headache, and he thought he had the pandemic thing, the C word, and a headache, and then all of a sudden, like he
Right.
snapped out of it. But they, yeah,
One of
Yeah,
them
I was
interviews,
like,
sure.
nah, that
Be
looked
like,
too
no,
fake
get
to
me a
me.
doctor, asshole. But
Right, right.
yeah. I guess it's easy to look at it and poke holes in it, the next day. But when you're going through it, I guess
Hey,
you're just thinking
absolutely.
about getting out of the cell.
I can't judge any of them because, boy, I know.
Well, you could judge them because you did it. We can't because we're not going through that. But you went through it.
Right. Somebody said is life after.
she was on 60 Days In. 60 Days In, season 3. Michelle was from. Because sometimes we cover life and love after lockup on here, so they were asking what show you were on. 60 Days In, season 3. Michelle was on. If you go back to the beginning of the show, Manchetti, I played a clip of her on 60 Days In. And you could see, and go back and watch season 3 if you didn't see it, Manchetti, and watch. Michelle did awesome on it.
Season three was pretty good. I thought season 4 was better, like more entertaining because Angel and her girlfriend and all of that drama.
Yeah.
Which completely blew my mind, but that's a whole nother topic.
Nothing beats the first season though, because it was so new.
Exactly. Yep. And then by season 2, they already know what's going on,
Yeah, but I think some of the other ones were good though. I think it's more. I guess it's more of like I like characters on the show as opposed to like the whole season. Like I like Tony, you know what I mean? I thought he was cool.
Yeah.
There's certain from each show. There's people you like and there's one's ass. So so overall, I think it was pretty good.
I agree with you on that too. Yeah, you just get kind of like personally know them almost,
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys talking about these guys are talking about doing shows on soccer and football. You guys got to come on and talk sports with Joe too.
But not soccer.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely it has changed now that it's not so new, and that's probably why they have the inmates on instead of non-inmates.
I think so also.
It makes sense.
But
it makes sense for it.
I wonder, did they give them paperwork? And I always go back to that every time. Well, did you give them paperwork so they don't look like assholes when they go in there, or not? Or what is it? Because that's just ridiculous. It does.
See, that's things that you, from being on the show, you could look at. You could watch the participants going in and being transferred from pods, whatever, to see if they're actually, because they would carry the paperwork with them, right?
Oh, you know what?
Right.
That's
so that's something for you to look for now that you been on others. What goes on.
I don't think they do. I don't think they have anything with them.
That's the first thing. If you go into a mail unit, they're going to ask you something like, "Where's your paperwork?" They want to see what you're in there for because they don't want to see child molesting or rape or anything like that. Yep. So if you don't have it, you better get it. You know what I mean? Because
then something is weird, right? It doesn't make any sense. They automatically know, well, you're undercover something, whether it's a cop on a show, you're not being honest with us. And that's what they don't like,
Yeah.
Because you can't go in there and be like, hey, I'm part of the show over here. You can't obviously do that, right?
Yeah, and then if you slip up with your cover story once, I mean, I'm sure that's easy to do. Say you're the wrong thing.
I think the Jackie girl, the woman that was in there with Stephanie, she knew that Stephanie was faking, or maybe Stephanie knew she was faking because she looked at her bracelet to get her name. I guess they gave her a fake name. So she had to look at her bracelet to remember her name.
Because you go in there with your first name, but they give you a fake last name because they don't want people they don't want them
after the fact.
Last name. Yeah.
Any danger, because essentially you're a rat. You're going in there as undercover.
Absolutely.
So they don't want any danger. And that's how the girl, she kept looking. That's how they knew that, the one girl knew the other one was a participant because she kept looking at her bracelet when they appeared. So she wouldn't screw up her name, stuff like that.
Well, and then I use the last name Smith. And just because it's a common name for my hometown. So when I went in there. There was like 3 other girls Smith because it's such a common name, right? So I figured I couldn't go wrong with that name, and it did work out good for me, because I couldn't.
Do you remember that season? That season, I'm trying to think. His wife went in there after him, okay? And his wife's name was Ashley, and they brought him to court because there was somebody with the same name in the jail, and they actually took the guy from the show to court. And the lawyer said, "That's not my client."
Yeah.
I forget what his name was. I'm picturing his face. Zach.
Yep. I remember that. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
He's like, "What's going on?" He knew in his mind, I'm not really
like something's not, but he couldn't say anything.
Right? Yeah, that was insane. But then it just happened to be the same last name or whatever. That was
no, then the show doesn't step in and try to, intervene somehow and get the warden or whatever and say, like, listen, they're pulling our guy out. This could be dangerous. They don't even try to intervene. That's what's strange.
Yeah, I think maybe because it would just be like too obvious. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, because also on your contract it says that they will have eyes on you at all times. At all times. There was one time I got pulled off, so they couldn't have eyes on me because I was in the hallway, and they supposedly sent somebody in there, because it was a weekend. They don't go on the weekends. They're strictly Monday through Friday producers, right? Which I thought was kind of weird too, because everybody would know on the weekends they weren't coming in there,
Right.
So if anything was gonna a fight or something was gonna happen, they're gonna do on the weekends when the cameras weren't actually in the pods. There was cameras in the pods, but not somebody with a camera,
Right.
Yeah, somebody asked, why do people do, okay, and we'll make this the last question. So the girls that were in with you that were repeat offenders, why do they go right back into jail? That's what this person doesn't understand. The repeat offenders.
Drugs
Most of the time.
Every time is drugs, because they're either stealing to get drugs, they're on drugs, or they just came off drugs and trying to get more drugs. It's always about drugs or alcohol. They did something really stupid when they were drunk or when they were high.
Or when they were high. Or the prostituting to get the drugs. Something exactly. Fueled by drugs. But
99% of the time, it's about their addiction. Yeah.
I'm gonna share your Instagram. Do you mind? I don't know. Is it private or anything? Okay, absolutely. Yeah, let me share it with the chat so everybody can follow you on Instagram.
All you'll see is my precious dogs and my daughter.
Yeah, you don't have any other social medias that you really promote to get up there, though. I want to just promote you if you want.
Well, thank you.
Michelle's IG, and we thank you for coming on. But I'll definitely reach out to you, and we could do something else, later on in a couple weeks or when the season's over, and we could all get together and talk again. Because we try to do this every week or every other week, cover the show.
Nice.
So we'd love to have you back on. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and I'll definitely come back. I always have a lot to say when it comes to 60 days in.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully, the season gets a little more spicy because it's I don't know. I feel like it's been a little bit.
It's been slow to to come together, really, but
it will. I feel like it will. I feel like it gets juicier and juicier every week, kind of thing, with how they do editing and how they do production. I think it'll get a little bit better.
Yeah, well, this week they ended with the fight and the kid had the shank, so it's anticipating seeing what will happen next week.
We have action.
Yep. Well, everybody in chat, thank you guys for hanging out. Jerry, Minnie the Moocher, TNT, Rat Trap City, all you guys that I missed. Who else, Joe?
Jerry G, Rat Trap City, of course.
And that's it. And Crash Truck. All right.
Michelle. Your brother TNT. Montauk, Gianni Catalano, Egg, he was in, Claudio Perry, our regular people.
All right, Michelle, thanks for coming on. I'm going to drop you down, and then we're going to end it, and I'll keep in touch.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Michelle.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Have a good one. I'm ending.
Yeah, hit goodbye.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.